What is up, Soul Warriors, Game Changers? Welcome to November 25th, or whenever you find this video, really, because it's timeless. My name is Master Juniper Blue Mystique. I am a true master healer, an ascension master, and a divine guide. I have an important message today that I channeled through for you for this week ahead, but also for these coming days and ways of the new land of Christ. Okay? Because we truly are in the return of Christ. That's what the ascension is. It is the return of what was not. It is the return of love to the land, to the one, and union under the moon and the sun. And you will find a lot of that work on this channel. Amazing things that we cannot fathom. So all I ask is that you leave judgments and expectations to the side because they will block you, blind you, and bind you. Okay? So we have an amazing message for this week ahead, and I love the way Spirit brought it. So I'm going to give that, and then you see some piles of cards next to me. I'm going to pull some cards, and in the end, I'm going to do a little bit of a healing. Okay? Because there have been some things occurring, and so healing is required. I will also be doing more healing tomorrow on my Healing Light Movement channel that I do on Tuesdays usually. So there will be more coming, and there's lots of healings and lots of amazing things you can see on this channel that do pertain to the actual work of the return of Christ. Okay, so I'm just cleansing this space because all I want is highest light in and highest light out, because when you bring things that are part of a separation or a division to this space, it will blind you. And we want us to be open and united, okay? Because that is the world going forward, okay? Some will be open and united through love and rising in frequencies, and others will be going the other way. And this is the place you're going to find the rising, okay? So bringing in lots of protection and clarity. Now, here's the thing is this is what they want me to talk about a little bit, is that when we come from a space of non-awakening to awakening, right? When we begin awakening, it's because we stop focusing so much in an outer aspect and we begin focusing inward. And the more awakened and enlightened you become, you realize, or you should work to realize, that everything is a reflection of you in the outer environment. So the first thing to always do is go inward. Go inward and feel, to not make reactions, but rather work towards responses. Okay. And so that takes slowing down. It takes processing things. It takes sitting with things sometimes before we react and respond, because energy is felt before our words are heard. All right. So let's listen to this message this week. This week it says pay attention to details. This was channeled through, and there's something really cool in the end here I'm going to discuss with you. Okay. So this week ahead, we need to pay attention to details. Okay. We are turning towards the light only. We need to turn towards the light only. All right. So there's going to be a lot of things happening in your environment, and they do go with the work that I have done, from activating pyramids to undoing the Holy Grail to freeing Jesus's soul because it was held captive. All of those are connected and part of the ascension, part of the energies shifting. And they do require that we focus on love and light, not on this World War III stuff or all of these carnage and divides, because it will lower your vibration. And some will have to deal with that, and others won't so much. Do you feel me? There are going to be two realities playing out. One is on the karmic side of things, and the other is on the love side of things. Okay. There's only a division of darkness and light right now, and it's going to get deeper. All right. And I remember when I first had my awakening, that was one of the first images I got, was me standing in the middle. And on my left was all darkness. There was like all these beings of just darkness, all shade. And then on the other side, it was all beings of light. And I'm like, what does this mean? And then later I realized that I was separating all darkness from light, and through the work that I've done, and we can no longer be duality. We can no longer be duality. So you can't play in energies that don't align with love. You can't. You're wasting your time, okay? Because you can't be both. We can no longer be both. So our job right now is to tune in and heal what is not God and what is not love. And I have people coming to this channel who have a religious base, and they try to throw religion towards me. Now, let me tell you, I am not religious, but I am of God. There is a difference, okay? And religion is also a division. And I'm not judging, it's just outside of what is truth. Okay, if you take every little piece of religion that is love and you put them together, there is truth there. All right. But within religion, a lot, there's judgments, there is confusion and division, and misunderstandings. And so we're not working towards any of that, okay? But we are looking towards and working towards unity of love and God, hopefully. Okay? All right. So understand that things are changing. Truths are going to be rising. And if you're not willing to see beyond what you're used to being, it's going to be difficult to remove duality for you. Okay. If you're not willing to be transparent or translucent, to be see-through, if you're not willing to see that things maybe aren't what they told you they were, and be open to amazing things coming through and being proven, because that's who I am. When I say something, there's proof behind it. Okay. So you want to look for those details. And that's what Spirit's saying, is paying attention to the details in yourself, in the energies around you. Your body will tell you if you're connected inward. Okay. And not to a false reality they call the matrix. Okay. We need to turn towards the light only, turn towards love. Like for instance, when ego is being thrown at you or judgments are being thrown at you, we don't have time to play into them. We really don't. We need to clear them and rise. Okay. And look for ways to be more light ourselves. All right. So focus less on external happenings like the war and all of that kind of stuff that is kind of they're pushing fear. It can look scary, but no matter what, things are going to fall. Some of us will be on the karmic side of things, and some of us will be on the side of light. So which one are you? Are you on the karmic side of things? 5225. I just saw that number 5225, so it has meaning right now with what I'm saying for somebody, for everybody actually they're saying. And 1111. So we are either on the karmic side of things. 1111 is talking about portals rising, awakening, new way of looking at things. Okay. And 5225. All right. So changing in our timelines, changing into balance, changing into perception. And we can probably look that up more. But anyways, what I have done is caused the greatest divide of mankind. It's darkness from light. And I've brought back all of God, all of light. Okay, that is true. You have to watch my work. It's very real and it's on this channel you find this video upon. That's not, I'm not making that up. Like it's very real. Okay. And we have recently undone the Sistine Chapel. All religion will fall. All false pretenses of the matrix will fall. But you guys, not only will they fall, there is a karmic play out, because what religion calls Judgment Day, God calls you reap what you sow. Okay. There is a kickback for what was done and what happened to Adam and Eve, to Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Sekhmet and Horus, and for all of mankind. And so some will be on that karmic side and some will be on the light. It depends on your heart. So if we focus more on the light, doesn't mean we don't all have stuff to heal. We do. We have to heal it all. Okay. And so that's number one, how we do it. Everything that comes up, you need to measure it. Is this love and light, or is this something that's trying to be the opposite of light? And when you think of the word light, don't just think of like a bright light. I want you to think of like light as a feather. Okay, is this heavy? Is this weighing me down? Or is it making me lighter? Am I releasing the energies that don't align with the light so that I can become lighter? Okay. So focus less on external happenings, but rather emotions rising, and use them to change your frequency. Okay, so whatever does rise, if you heal it and you recognize it and you do what you need to do with it and you choose love only, it will change your frequency. If you let more light into your body, to the spiritual side of things, to your heart, it will change your frequency. And your body is going to tell you in many ways what needs light. from the symptoms that you feel in the ascension to the physical pains, physical things, noises, sounds that we're hearing. Our eyes will tell us things, and then our gut, right, and our emotional side as well. So pay attention to everything internal and use things to change your frequency. Okay. And in the end of this, I'm going to help us do a little healing. So then Spirit or God, Creator gave, when I didn't get an exact being giving me this message, it's just general from Spirit, divine guide. It's from the highest essence. Okay. So God, right? Everything's through God anyways. It should be if it's in the light. Not everything's through God. Let me clarify that. But everything I do is through God, even if it's like, say, an angel giving it, right? Okay. So we have indigenous tribes came up here. And I'm like, interesting. Now, in the work that I've done, this has come up many times because part of the divide began in that time frame. Okay. And even with Abraham Lincoln and with the Grand Canyon, I did a video on that one and they kept pointing me to other areas in that area and indigenous tribes and what happened to them at that time. So some things are like a distraction from what really was important to know. So indigenous tribes are coming out for a reason. Now let's listen to the message. We need to focus on unity. Indigenous tribes believed and lived a certain way. Okay. And so that's part of this message is we need to get to that. Again, focusing on unity and harmony of the land and all connectedness. Okay. They treat spirituality as sacred. They know the earth is sacred. They know the sun and the moon were sacred. They know connectedness and love are sacred. And in spirituality, we shouldn't be allowing things to come in that are not love within it. Okay? It is sacred. It is what gets us close to God. And I'm getting chills. And the land, God is in the land and the animals. And anytime they would have to eat anything for survival, they would not waste a single part of it. And it wasn't for like financial gains and things, it was for survival only. And they realized that we're all connected spiritually. And so they would do these ritualistic blessings even when they had to use them. And God is saying we don't anymore. So we have to understand that, okay, we all have souls and we're all connected through them. So be very mindful of that. And it should be this way, okay? They treat spirituality as sacred and it should be this way. Now, people throw religion at me. And when I tell them one split second that I undid religion in the return of Christ, they don't take the time to understand what that means. The Holy Grail was not what they told you. The Last Supper was not what they told you. What happened to Jesus is not what they told you. Okay. And all of these things, including in spirituality, were divided and split apart. And so, in the return of Christ, in the work that I've done, and you can see it on my channel through everything that I've done, everything has to be called back to the whole, from religion to spirituality included. So even all modalities of spirituality have to be called back to the whole. Okay, they were divided as well and fragmented. So it's not just religion, but in religion, it was not based in truth and union of love. There's a lot of divide, and that is not God. It was created for power of kings, okay? And so they took some of the word of God and they changed it and used it against mankind. Okay. So we have to understand this. Okay. But if you'd watch my videos without taking what I say immediately and going, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, but I do. Okay. Because I undid them. I know what they are, and it unfolds on this channel. There's proof right here for you, okay? When I undid the Sistine Chapel, I had no idea that was coming. When I undid the Holy Grail on Christmas Day, I had no idea that was coming. When I was uniting with my twin flame on 3 different levels, I had no idea they were coming. I had no idea that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were also Sekhmet and Horus, that were also Adam and Eve. I didn't know that until I united with my twin flame on all 3 of those levels. And I didn't even know they were coming. Okay. So I encourage you to get out of our limited self and get back into the sacred ground, bringing everything back to the whole. Okay, it's like everything was split from the light of the one. All right, and it has to be purified. Even in spirituality, there was shadow, not just religion. Understand this. And it has to be brought back to the whole of the one. And that is the end of ways outside of God. Okay, so we can't be duality. Everything's being called back home. We cannot take shadow back to the light of the one. Okay, making the sense? I hope it is. All right, so indigenous tribes, they focus on unity and harmony of the land and all connectedness. That's what they focus on, focusing on the light only. They treat spirituality as sacred. They honor the earth and the ground, and everything is sacred. It's honor to the land, to spirit, to our ancestors. It's honor to God. And it should be this way. Okay. Honor to spirit, God, creator, and land. We must focus on this love, union, not divide. Okay, for those that are rising. Letting go of expectations, pettiness, judgment, and behaviors of divide. All right, if you're going to be rising and you don't want to be a part of karma, you have to be letting go of expectations, thinking that maybe I don't know what I'm talking about when the proof is right there, but you have to look, right? But that's all over. We were taught to be in expectations and judgment and division. Okay. So we have to let go of expectations. And this can be something that is a bit of a challenge for ourselves, but it's an important one. Pettiness, judgments, and behaviors of divide. Oh, pettiness gets me. It's like I'm not in high school. If you can't be humbled and honest with yourself, let alone with others, transparent, like there's work to do. You know what I mean? Like let's just we have to be emotionally mature. All right. And that's coming out in actually my courses right now. Every one of them. So bring together union of love and light. Okay. Then they said, Iroquois nations, it's time to rise. So this land belonged first to the indigenous tribes. That's what they called it, right? And so I'm like, what is Spirit trying to say when they say Iroquois nations? It's time to rise. Let's look up the Iroquois nations. It was the definition of um, the Hana Dadaja. The Iroquois, also known as the Five Nations, and later as the Six Nations from 1722 onwards, alternatively referred to by the endonym Haudenosaunee. They are an Iroquoian-speaking confederacy of Native Americans and First Nations people in Northeast North America. Okay, but I don't think God's saying let's bring back them and get rid of everybody else. What God is saying here, what Spirit is saying here is they had certain beliefs we're going to all come back to. That's for New Earth, okay? So let's listen to them. They believed, this is the Iroquois, they had many beliefs, including the seventh generation. So the idea that decisions made today should be sustainable for the next 7 generations. That everything we do affects everyone and it should be sustainable, not in a false power line, multi-building sort of way, not in a Hollywoodized mind control, manipulation type of way, but in an all connectedness, honor to the land, honor to spirit, honor to love kind of way. Okay. This value is especially important for cultural practices, languages, and ceremonies. I have to tell you too, is that when I did Mount Shasta 1 and 2, when I activated the pyramids, and when I did other parts of the Return of Christ, we returned the language of God. It was actually removed back in the Native American time frames where they were more heightened and spread all over the nation before they were segregated and placed in concentration camps. That's what I call it, because that's truly what happened to them. Their land was stolen and divided, and they were made weaker, or they would be killed if they didn't comply. But before around all that time, God actually removed the language of God from the land in a very big way because they were using it against mankind. Okay. And in the work that I've done in returning the power of the sun and the moon, I've also fully returned the language of God. And you cannot carry the shadow into that, or you will be disconnected from the light. Okay. So respect for nature is another thing that they believe in. Okay, so this is what God is pointing to. The idea that they believe that the earth is their mother and that they should treat it with kindness and respect. Like with my new twin flame and things and my oldest son right now, it's like, where did kindness and respect go for the mother? Some stuff went down, right? We have lost value for the mother, but also Mother Earth. Now I'm not saying all mothers have been valuable in of themselves, right? But how can you be whole in a broken world as it is? So we have to come back together. We need to have respect for the mother and the land. And the land should be treated with kindness and respect, and so should each other. They believe that the land, plants, animals, and other living things are part of a larger circle of life and are entitled to respect and protection. And we have taken that away from animals. We have taken that away from the land. Okay. Gratitude is also something they focus on. They express gratitude for all they have and hope to have. They practice their religion through ceremonies that show thanks and reverence for the Creator and the natural resources. Gratitude needs to be practiced. That's what I'm hearing here. Okay. So you see what I'm saying? How you sometimes have to digest the message and look deeper. You need to look very deep into what I do as well. Because I'm not false and I'm not on the surface. I'm not part of the divide. I'm not part of the religion. I'm not part of the shadow within spiritualism either. I'm part of returning back Christ and removing all divide. Okay, bringing us back to the one under the sun and under the moon and under God. That's who I am and what I've done. And God promised you guys that. So we have to be able to see what that is. Okay. And practicing gratitude needs to be brought back on a greater scale and in more powerful waves of light. Okay. Another thing the Iroquois nations believed in is freedom of autonomy, individuality. Now, I don't want to say freedom of religion because I know what religion is and it has to fall. When I did the Nile workshop and things, I've told you guys that part of what I undid was false religion. It doesn't mean God is false. God is good. Jesus was real, but so was Mary Magdalene. They were twin flames. They were split offs of Adam and Eve. Okay. So freedom to give people free will. Let's put it that way. So we can't force anybody to believe in what we believe in. We have to let them fall if they want to fall. We have to let them have their beliefs and systems, but we can also shine our light for others that hear the call. Okay. Balance. They believed in balance in everything. And the Matrix had you balanced only for their world, right? It was false. So the Iroquois nations believed in balance in everything, including the use of the land. The authority to use land or resources includes the responsibility to protect them, and we have not been doing that. So the earth does have her own karmic kickback. Everything does, from money to the earth to religion. Okay. 7 grandfather teachings. They believe in the teachings of love, respect, bravery, truth, honesty, humility, and wisdom. Okay. So here, they believe in, again, the 7th generation, 7 grandfather teachings, all connectedness, respect for each other. They value cultural practices, languages, and ceremonies. They value togetherness and sacredity. They value respect, love, bravery, truth, honesty, humility, and wisdom. And that's what I said is like that pettiness we cannot be. Okay. We're not in high school. We are in the end of days, in the end of ways. So, the Iroquois Nation is the belief system is what we need to bring back. We're all connected. Generations matter. Okay. Forward generational thinking, respect for nature, gratitude being a very big part of our everyday to day, freedom of free will. Freedom of free will, freedom of the soul. Let's put it because religion actually bound the soul. They stole Jesus's soul. And I can prove that because I spent a year battling for my twin flame soul and he didn't make it. I got to walk in. Balance, and that was painful. That is not a hypothetical. That was very real. So balance is required, okay, in everything we do. And the New Earth blueprint is balance from the heart space. You have to be able to hear God, okay? You have to be able to hear God. You have to be able to follow those heart-centered nudges without any doubt, without any hesitation, because I've seen so many people do that. The moment their heart nudge comes through, some shadow comes through, they hesitate and they fall. Okay. Seen that happen too many times. So we don't want to do that. We don't have time to do that. Okay. So now I'm going to pull a quick message from the cards. There's a few that I'm seeing that I need to pull here for this week ahead too, and for what we're coming into. Very important message from Spirit. And then I'm going to do a little quick healing, just a quick one, because there has been negative energies coming my way. So I want to clear them because we are all connected. Okay. So interesting enough, I have like this vintage wisdom oracle coming through. I was told to pull that deck first before God gave the message about the indigenous tribes and Iroquois nations and their belief systems. So I find that to be quite a beautiful, beautiful space, beautiful message. All right, and very validating in the energies. Okay. All right, so I'm just getting the decks out here. And I keep hearing the song Wish I Could Turn Back Time. We may have things in our thing where we're like, oh, I wish I didn't do this and I wish I didn't do that. But if we focus on that too much, it takes away from the here and the now. And what you don't realize is that God will give you an opportunity to correct them if you're paying attention to the now, if we have time. Like if you're not wasting time, or if you're not focusing on things that don't matter, right? And wasting time doing that. So we have to just stay in the here and the now and do what we can now to correct them. And you can usually, as long as we are aligned and paying attention and utilizing opportunities that come as they come. Okay, so don't worry about the past. Worry about the now. All right, so let's see what the cards have to say. We're going to begin with the Vintage Oracle Wisdom because that was the first one that stood out in my energy, and it was part of the message for this week is we need to bring back values of the past, like as far as what God says the Iroquois nation's belief systems. They were very spiritually present. Okay, but even in like Egyptian times, there was a lot of division um, at times, and so we just need to watch that too. But they were also spiritually connected. But God is really pointing to the way the Iroquois nations were with the land and with unity and sacredness and oneness and all of that. Okay. Honor, values. But I also feel like it's part of what's rising and healing in the land at this time. Okay. Um, right. What's interesting is when people hear pyramids, they think of Egypt. The pyramids I activated were in Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand, um, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Kilimanjaro, Congo, Ecuador. Um, and if there's any more, I don't know. They're all on the recordings on my channel. There was 13 pyramids, okay, and so they are all over, but there is quite a few in Africa still. It's just not the ones that you're aware of. So they would honor their loved ones also with pyramidal burial grounds because they believed that that was the way that their loved ones were going to be able to rise home to the one is through an ascension portal. And that's what pyramids are. Okay. The masculine and feminine pyramids of God, of Christ, of Adam and Eve, of God. That's the ones that I've activated, reactivated. And so that's why you have these pyramids all over the globe. And a lot of them are burial grounds. And a lot of them were like for Egyptian kings and queens and things, or the honored and the revered. But they believed that that was their way to get back to the other side to God, was through pyramids. Okay. Through portals of light, they called them. All right. They were portals of light, and that's also they're pointing to some of those hieroglyphs, like the light bulb, the portals of light and power. It's all connectedness, but also your power lines are false And you can see that in all the work that I did. Pyramids actually supply the power to the earth through Christ's light and through the crystalline grid underneath it. And so those are what they're depicting on the pyramid walls. That's a really cool part of the message, isn't it? Okay. So let's see what the cards say. You never know what's going to come out in these. They're very detailed. So what was the first message for this week is pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. Okay. Also, where there's more shadow, they will be cut off from the light. Okay. So let me turn these your way. Ooh, we have compassion and abundance. Okay. Abundance is a high frequency value. It's hard to have abundance when we're in a low frequency and or when we're wound tight. That was my message today. So I want to expand. We want to be freer in the energy. Okay. Celebration, the energy of celebration. That's like gratitude, isn't it? Right? So we have compassion. Where's our compassion and love? Where is that? Like this week is, I've definitely not seen as much as that as we should, right? Where is compassion? Abundance is a high frequency value, and so is celebration and compassion. So these are focusing on light, right? How are we going to have these if we focus on war and division, which we will have two different realities playing out. One is a karmic play out, and one is rising through pure heart and love and light. Guardian angel. Intention is everything. Okay. Intention is everything. These cards are so pretty. I really like them. You see how it's the intention? It's almost like a spell casting bowl, right? You put in your intention and then you pour it out into the universe. I always try to tell people is people's intention is more important than anything. Anybody can say anything. Anybody can do anything. Believe me. I know this. I've seen it. I've experienced it. They will put on a pretty face. They will put on a smile. They will tell you one thing, but their intention is not based in that. Their intention might be solely on personal gain. They might only do things that personally serve them, and so on and so forth. Okay, and so that is not all connectedness, is it? We should do things because we're all connected and we want to help each other, because we love each other, because we care. Okay. Also, what is the intention behind your creations? The number one law or lay of the land that we need to watch out for is we are all connected. Okay. So, for the betterment of all, right? It's always for the betterment of all. But also, if you don't value yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in spirituality, then how can you create from that space? If you don't believe in yourself, how can you be abundant? If you don't believe in abundance, how can you bring it in? If you don't believe in the universe, how can you be abundant? If you believe money is a matrix and it has to be controlled and you have to do it this way and you have to do it their way and it's always stressful and you have to work really hard for it, you can't be in abundance. Okay, it's like letting go of that, right? Guardian angel. It's like we are being guided. You are being guided, but you have to be able to hear. So our guardian angels are saying to us right now that we need to be in celebration, compassion for one another, watch out for our intentions, understand intentions of ourselves and others, and open up to the blooming of abundance, the possibilities, open possibilities. That's what I'm hearing here. Okay. We've lost values. We've also lost sacredness. And that's what they're saying. Okay. Let's see what our animal spirit guides have to say. Woo. Something's coming our way too. So there's something coming, something coming. December is going to be a little bumpy in some ways if you let it be. Okay. If you are focusing on the wrong things, it will be bumpy. If we're focusing on these things, it'll be great. If all you care about is presents for Christmas and you're in that side of things, you might be missing the value of what Christ's Mass really was, because I undid the Holy Grail and united that soul part of my life on Christmas Day of 22. Christmas truly is Christ's Mass. Okay. Not focused on who has the best gifts, right? It doesn't mean we can't give to each other. It just, what is our intention? Okay. What really truly matters is a celebration and unity of love and joy and Christ and each other. And like we do things, we craft, we bake, those things are fun. They're traditional values and they're sustainable across the land. Okay. But if we are worried about how many presents are under the tree, are those sustainable? They may not be. They probably won't be. Okay. So you need to guard our future, guard our presence, guard our openness, right? Um, and be aware of our intention and come from a place of compassion. Yeah. And it's hard when people aren't being very kind to you. And then they think it's just you. You know what I'm saying? Like we can become blinded. And so that's where that pettiness comes in. Seahorse, watch and wait. This is a good one because when we are creating, when we have intentions, we tend to focus on what's coming and when. Watch and wait truly talks about being in the here and the now and just being open to amazing things coming our way. When we can be in celebration, gratitude, compassion, joy, um, it doesn't matter because we know something will come when it's ready to come, right? That's like loosening up the energy, not being focused on what, when, where, and why, but on what can I do right now to raise my vibration. Okay. Spirit has your back. Guardian angel. Spirit has your back if you allow it. You have to allow it. Remember, free will. What do they respect as free will? Okay. And that's a great way to put it. Not control like the Matrix did. The Matrix was very controlling and shackling and binding, where God is unwinding. He's freedom of the soul. Okay. So eagle spirit, it's like fly above the fray, right? Don't focus on the pettiness. Don't focus on what's happening over here, the distractions, the lackey value stuff. Know that you are guided and protected. Know that everything will come when it needs to come. And so can we surrender into the moment in the now, knowing everything is great? That's what Spirit is saying. Surrender into the now and don't pay attention to the distractions. But we have to allow Spirit to have our back. You can stop that. You cannot hear them. You can choose to not follow their guidance because, they can only work through you, right? Unless it's life or death. Like I literally had an intervention in my 18, I was 19, 18 or 19, and I could have died. And that was the first time I actually heard spirit in physical form. And they said, let go, because I wrecked a four-wheeler. And it came so fast. And I heard let go. And then like a split hair of a second later, I had to I crashed. And if I didn't let go, I would have smashed my face in. And then they said curl up, and I did. And then the thing landed on top of me. So, but I actually had to be here in the moment. If I went into like fear and if I didn't choose to listen to spirit, I wouldn't have been protected. Okay. Do you feel me? Spirit can only protect you when you allow them to, when you're hearing them, and when you choose to follow their guidance. Bring a gentle touch. Bring a gentle touch. I'm going to do the same. Be gentle. We don't have to meet toughness with toughness. We need to meet everything with gentleness. Okay. To ourselves and to others, I'm hearing. And then also know your worth. Know your worth. Like the skunk. Everybody's like, ew, the skunk. And the skunk is like, I'm badass. Know your worth. Like you can't touch this. No, I'm just kidding. That's ego. Don't know your worth to ego. You're not better than anybody, but also don't devalue yourself. Okay. And I've done that because when people don't take the time to see my work and see who I am, because the shadow will blind you from me until your heart is pure, you can't see me all of the way. You can hear me, you can see me as like flesh and blood, but you can't see my spiritual side of things and the work that I've done until your shadow is cleared. So the more you watch the work that I've done, the more you're like, oh, because God is vast, right? And so when people throw judgments my way, when they don't want to see the return of Christ's work, I'm like, I used to tell God I failed. And God would say, don't do that. You didn't fail anything. You're devaluing yourself, basically. You didn't fail. People can't see. And I'm like, oh, and it took me a long time to realize that people can't see. And I see this happen time and time again. It's so easy to get blinded. It happens by one decision. Okay. So just because somebody else is blinded does not mean your worth is lowered. Know your worth. But if you're one of those people that's like, yeah, see, I knew it, like, you also have to understand you reflect onto others. And so when you're blinded, you're projecting a lot. So you need to also understand that. But it's never about right and wrong. It's about where love is not. Okay. And just like I said here, spirit can have your back, but only if you let them. Everything is actually through you, not to you. It only exists through you. So nobody can go against free will. And the Matrix did. And it's falling. And God gave you your sovereignty back. Okay. So we can't do anything. Spirit can't help you if you don't choose to hear them and you don't follow their guidance immediately without hesitation. And that it's easier to do that when we know our worth because it uses the wounds against us. Be honest with self first, then you will see honesty or dishonesty in others. That's why I tell you, if you can't be transparent, you're not being honest with yourself. If you're hiding something from yourself, you're most likely projecting. But when you are completely honest with yourself and you're willing to do that, you're willing to be transparent and humbled, you know that we all kind of are connected in things, right? It's easier to see where others are not seeing clearly as well. Okay. All right. So unbelievable accomplishments never happen in one day. Many pieces it takes, seen and unseen. Okay. So every time spirit says something, you don't realize you're building up your foundation. You may not understand what that is until later, right? It may not show itself until later, but we get into expectations and we're like, well, shouldn't this happen now? You said this, and I've felt that energy before. So we have to be mindful of that, okay? Know that it will already happen. Watch and wait also means that people can only hide for so long and you can only hide for so long, okay? So we tend to be outside of the here and the now a lot, okay? Things will also show themselves eventually. You can only hide things for so long, okay? Unless you're completely blinded, right? Kind of like that narcissistic value. You can constantly tell them, hey, look what you're doing. And they're like, no, I'm not doing shit. It's you. That's the narcissist gaslighting. Time to see things from a different light. Okay. When you're truly connected to the heart space, you do value how you make others feel. You will think more often about if I do this, how will it make others feel? And then there's also the other side to that where you go into the extreme of that. Okay. So balance in all things. All right, that is the message this week going forward, especially, and for this Monday, or whenever you find this, because it's timeless. Now I'm going to do a quick healing for those that wish to stay for the healing. So I just want your feet on the floor and your palms facing up, no matter where you are. This is going to be a very quick healing. I'm going to tell Spirit that. I wish to call on the Creator again and all the angels and spirits that wish to be with us, beings of light. I do burp. You'll get used to that if you work with me. I can't help it, but it's a good sign. It's a disgustingly good sign. Okay. It's just kind of gross. I know it's good, but it's still kind of gross. I will never stop saying that. I will never stop apologizing for burping in people's faces or ears. So what I'm seeing now is like this being coming and they're putting a bulb of light in not a bulb, but like a ball of light in our hands. So I want you to just kind of sit with your feet on the ground and your palms open and just open for receptivity, but also feel into this ball of light that is being placed in your hands. Calling in the energies of the north, south, east, and the west aligned back to the north. Complete and whole, the highest divine love, light, and support. All elements, elementals that wish to step in, all beings of light. The intention for this healing is that we receive the healing we need in this moment and time in a very fast-paced manner. I don't want to be here all day or hold you too long, but I want to receive the most we can in the shortest period of breath. as an individual and a collective. What do we need most at this time to help us in this moment, myself included? That is the intention. Very high, potent energy healing and removing of what is not. Allow clarity, ease, and grace. Allow us to see, hear, feel, and be clear in all things real. Allow us to see clearly the truths within. Allow us to see clearly the truths from without. Allow us to feel clearly all things needed to be felt. Allow us to be clear with any doubt. Strengthen our intuition and our knowing, opening the heart even more. That is the intention. So just close your eyes, and I want you to be present in the now, taking your focus from the top of your head down to your third eye as I bring in down some light to open us up. Coming from the heavens above, just a pure white light. It's like this beautiful ball of light. And they're also pouring sun down my vessel. So personally, I'm getting them pouring the sun, literally taking the sun and pouring it down my vessel. And for you guys, I'm using this beautiful ball of light, just like they placed in your hands. So we're drawing that down from our top of our head to our third eye, the middle of our forehead, drawing it down our face, intricately inward and into our throat. They are already starting to remove some debris from the throat space. So we do have Lyrans, beings of light. Andromedans are coming forward, but they've been present now because we are in a cosmic spiritual presence at this time, an evolutionary space of 7D creation, okay? So we are in very high vibrations. We are in very high frequencies of light. And so I'm seeing that these cosmic rays are coming in. So there's beautiful, like a pearlescent, like opaque pink, right? Like pastel-y, very beautiful coming into our energy in blue and green. So a pink, blue, and green cosmic rays of love and light. And they're bringing those down as well into our throat even more. There's something yucky in the throat. So it's removing some more debris. There's a little dagger in the throat. Um, it's definitely blame, projections, and non-truth. Somebody is not speaking truth. Also, they're saying somebody is not owning up to what they do. They're not owning up to their truth. It's uncomfortable and they don't like it. They don't like to be exposed. None of us do. None of us do, right? None of us do. It's not comfortable always to see our truths and go, ooh, I didn't know I was doing that. But it doesn't, if we care about what others think about that, then that's not love and connectedness, is it? We shouldn't judge those things. It's about where love is not who is wrong and right. Keep that in mind. So I'm being seen with that in the throat. And so there's more clearing of the throat. I feel it going down into the bottom right space of the throat chakra. That very beautiful blue light and pink light, and green light, and a little bit of yellow as well. And they're just pouring sun down my vessel. But this is actually, if I feel it, it's kind of burning. So just breathe. And right now we are focusing on our throat chakra. So take your focus to your neck. And any tensions you might feel, you can breathe in from the earth up and release them out. And I'm starting to feel it more in my gut. It hurts. Something's definitely not right. Oh, there's blame going on here. Projections, and blame. Yeah. Rather than ownership, clarity, and focusing on where love is not within you. We're always so quick to look at others and tell them what they need to do, right? But what about you? Why not just focus on what we need to release out of our energy to make us light? Remember, light is a feather. beauty and grace and gratitude and love and joy. So they're fixing the frequency, the vibration of our throat chakra. They're also removing some unwanted. So it's almost like I see these broken pieces of paper with writing on them in our throat chakra, like words of old ways of doing things is how they're reflecting that. These are old ways of doing things that do not serve you anymore. So we need to watch that. You need to be willing to grow as a soul and step in outside of your comfort zone and do things differently than you did them before. It's never about who's right or wrong, but about where love was not. Ah, and they're balancing out the throat chakra. Ah, ah. And taking it down further now into the heart chakra. There's a little bit of like a muck between the throat and the heart. And they're healing it almost like with like this nectar to continue soothing it because it feels kind of like it was burned. Somebody placed the blame on somebody else, like it's your fault that this happened. You didn't tell me. You didn't do this. You didn't do that, when actually that's not the case at all. It had everything to do with you. Remember, never about who's right and wrong, always about where love is not. And not that we don't all have equal responsibilities and things, but as long as, one is doing their part, the other must comply too, right? And if they don't, we're out of balance. So I hear somebody's teetering on darkness and light. Remember, we can't be both. That's the message going forward right now. So you have to focus on everything light. So we're finally bringing more light down into the heart space, but there's like this nectar being applied to the throat space. And they're bringing beautiful light into the heart space, but they're also focusing on both sides. So the left side of the heart space and the right side of the heart space, and they're clearing out both sides and helping to bring union of the two sides, masculine and feminine in the heart space. I'm hearing that. Twin flames aren't meant to be like everybody else. We have bigger purposes. We have to serve, heal bigger things. And it's not about ego. It's not about being better than anybody else because you're here to help them, right? Like all connectedness and um, it's like serving a bigger purpose, which isn't always easier. It's meant to be a little more difficult, a little more challenging. And if you can't accept that, that's the way God is looking at it. You either accept the challenge or you don't. And if you don't, they have to redirect. So somebody else might come in and replace that. So, like on the Return of Christ stuff, there was every person that rose with me had a specific purpose. So, God is actually telling me there might be replacements coming forward. Leave those details to us, they're saying. Don't worry. So within the heart space, I feel like this burning again. It's not like envy and greed, it's like blame. Yeah, it's like devaluing the worth of God. And I'm looking back and I'm getting visuals of how this happened recently on my journey with others around me. And where they wouldn't even align to that value and weren't being from the time that translucency, right? Like being transparent was not applied and where it started fading out and things. And so if we can look back and say that, okay, that is where I need to reconnect to get realigned so I can see clearly again. And I do it from the here and the now, not from going backwards and going, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Or blaming others. Where did I become detached? Where did I become blinded? Where did I stop hearing the nudges from the heart center? Because it's very subtle. We have to be inward. We have to be still, more quiet, more tuned in to every little detail. Okay. And so at what point did you stop doing that? That's what needs to be recognized. And so they're just cleansing out more debris out of the heart space. So this is about opening up our connections, clearing out debris, and getting balanced and aligned. And they're going down now from the heart space to the solar plexus. There has been an energy of disdain coming towards that, blame again, and devaluing the work of Christ and of light and of God. That's what I'm hearing very loudly. And I feel like this horrible, yucky energy rising in my soul, like it's tough, like a bubble of energy that doesn't align. And they're like balancing my solar plexus. Oh, 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 oh. Mhm. I keep hearing that BK value thing. It's like have it your way. Well, this is what happens when you have it your way rather than God's way. That's why we have to surrender and let them be our guide. But we must listen and follow their guidance very quickly and easily without hesitation, because there's no way we can know everything in these energies. There's just no way. It's too vast. It's an ascension of a spiritual nature. So we need to come into our 100% spiritual self to see everything. And so until we can see everything, but even then you're listening to your guides. You know what I mean? It's co-creation. If you're not co-creating and you want to do it your way, you will become detached from the light because you don't know. This is past life healings as well. You don't know. Value needs to be made right. And so they're putting up a mirror of protections here within the solar plexus, a bubble free, like a mirror, a bubble of mirrors so that you can reflect back to you and stop projecting onto others. Like we don't want projections. We also don't want to accept projections from others, especially when they're not being transparent and truthful and honest in the moment and open immediately. They're hiding. They aren't communicating, those kinds of things, right? Have you ever experienced that where somebody won't communicate? They'll say things in a roundabout manner. That's not transparency, and they're most likely projecting.
Ah,
Slow down, they're saying.
ah,
So you're just cleansing out the solar plexus. I'm feeling needs a lot of this. It's yucky, it's hurtful. Mine is being turned back around. It's being healed. It's being realigned because there was energies of outward projections that came my way. And so we all might be experiencing that a little bit. And even if you're not, that's okay. Just be mindful that you're constantly going within you, looking within you, and not projecting anything onto others.
ah,
But transparency should be allowed. If you can't be honest and somebody like gets mad at your honesty and doesn't communicate with you, you see what I'm saying? It has to work both ways. Those are those petty, non-emotional maturity elements. We have to be emotionally mature with each other. It's important right now. Yeah, so I'm hearing devaluing the work of Christ. I keep hearing that loudly. Somebody devalued the work of Christ that was in the inner circle, like close to that light.
ah,
And that's not from those that are blinded by shadow. That's somebody that was internal, closer to that light. So when they bring that towards that, it reflects onto everybody. So we have to be very careful.
ah,
Honor, dishonorable.
ah,
And they're healing a wound. So the right side of my solar plexus. So this is interesting. There is somebody out there I watch that has hundreds of thousands of followers and they do manifesting stuff. And she's backwards on my energy. She says that the masculine is on her right side and the feminine is on her left, and that's actually mirrored. It's not true. The masculine is on my right and the feminine is my right. I mean, sorry, the masculine is my whole left side and my right is myself, the feminine. And that is Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Mag. That's the masculine and feminine. The masculine is on the left, eye of Horus. The feminine is on the right, eye of Ra. And so she was actually mirroring, which tells me she's in the other side. Okay. So you're going to have that. One will be mirroring and one will be truth of light, right? Projections rather than truth. One will be mirroring and looking and feeling backwards at things, and the other one will be completely aligned to the light. Because I was like, that's weird. And they told me she's seeing it from the other side of things. It's not the direct reflection, it's a mirrored image. So the matrix side, basically. Which just means there's more healing to do. You cannot get a direct reflection where there's shadow applied because we can't be duality. This is not about, ooh, look at them. It's just where they have healing to do if they rise to the occasion. And sometimes some people aren't meant to be like, you know what I mean? They're not fully full on soul applied.
ah,
So we're still releasing out of the solar plexus. Did you hear that? That was a good one. They're filling up a lot of sunlight into the solar plexus at this time. It's still actually quite yucky, so I'm going to hold space for this.
ah,
So, the crest of Christ, you cannot bring negativity towards the crest of Christ. And transparency would have helped that.
ah,
Being transparent, saying, hey, I don't understand this, and then looking into things and dive in communication and, you know, those kinds of things. We forgot how to value, respect, and be honest and truthful.
ah, ah,
So I see an image of myself beginning to float on a lotus on water, and I'm right under the sun. And it's like reflecting off of the sun onto the water and onto me, and it's like boom, vibrating across the entire globe.
ah,
They are also repairing the masculine and feminine connections within my solar plexus. There was an energy that came in that did not belong.
ah,
Spiritual attacks can happen very easily. If you think negative about somebody and towards them, that is a spiritual energy that doesn't align and it's going to flow towards them. It's going to affect them. It's going to affect their chakra system. We are all connected, and these are how they come in. And it's like that wrath and being angry and blame and things like that. Instead of looking within, going, where is love not and why? What is happening? Can we come together? Can we be honest? Can we sit with this and be transparent and shine into what is not? That should be the purpose of everything. So then there's also something going in towards the left side of my solar plexus. And so they are aligning the two sides again. There was interference with the masculine and feminine alignment. And that is why there's been a change of plans
ah,
towards the crest of Christ. That's what they're saying. And it does affect everybody. So they're healing this. They're putting a salve in the solar plexus area, and that way nothing yucky can stick. It has to rise out.
ah,
Just focusing on joy and love and happiness and union and following those nudges, no matter what, without expectations, without needing to know why in the moment, but knowing everything matters for what you've requested from spirit. Okay. And one thing will lead to another always. It's always a piece of the puzzle. Everything matters, even seen or unseen. It all comes together. We get in the space of we know better, we know everything, we need to see it all, and that's false. That is a matrix application. You cannot see it all. We cannot see everything on the spiritual side and the physical side unless you are just completely like, I've been there. I know what it takes to be there, but it's really hard to be in the physical when we're there. And so it requires this mass balance and purity. And that is not always possible. So we have to let go of that want and need and expectations and fear and lack and the things that hold us back and just be in the now. Present moment applied, not wondering what's happening next or why. Be an observer. So they're fixing the compass of the solar plexus. They're also cutting a cord. So at this point, I see a cord being cut from my solar plexus and it's like snaking back to where it belongs. Somebody actually deflated the solar, so my solar plexus feels like it's deflated, like a balloon that started deflating. All of the light started deflating, like the energy out of it started being sucked out. And so they're just plumping it, they're almost like blowing a balloon back up. Blame. That's what it's absolute blame. It's your fault this happened. It's your fault this happened. I keep hearing that. I didn't do anything wrong. It's your fault this happened. This was you. And I keep hearing that. Somebody said that, probably towards me. Um, that's what I keep hearing. Not one missed opportunity, but multiple to cause misalignment. So they're changing the frequency of the solar plexus as well. Dropping the energy down now from the solar plexus towards the navel, the sacral, and the root, and all the way down the body into the earth. And it's pushing out what is not. And then from the earth, as we're grounding into the earth right now, I see this big bubble. The earth herself is going to send a big bubble of opaqueness and translucent energy, okay? So that all truths will be reflected to which they belong, okay? And so this bubble, and it's also going to remove what doesn't belong out of our system at this time. And it's beginning to rise up from the earth into our feet, our ankles, our calves, our knees, our thighs, and into our root chakra area. And that's where I can start to feel this bubble energy. And it's going to start drawing through each part of the vessel as it rises. And to what doesn't belong, it's going to draw it out into this bubble and also push it up as it rises. So it's going to like suck into it what doesn't belong, like a vacuum, and push up and out as it rises as well. Jealousy, fear, greed. Also like judgments. There's big judgments, like not truths. You know what I mean? Projections. I want to say envy, but it's not quite envy. It's like jealousy and greed and projections. Also, I hear very loudly devaluing the work of Christ. So I feel this bubble rising. It's a little like, ugh, like I could feel it. Yep, as it's pushing up, it's going up towards the sacral now in our navel and our gut area. And as this big bubble is pushing up from the earth, it's pushing out as well as absorbing. Oh, I can feel it. It's intense. So it's starting to push out and absorb. And it's inching up towards our solar plexus. So it's covering the root to the solar plexus. Ow. And I can see it starting to absorb from the solar plexus and all of the lower extremity parts of the body, energy and physical. It's like sucking it into the bubble, what doesn't belong, what it can house, and also pushing out the rest. So I could feel it. Ooh, transgressions. It's your fault. Like you did this. This was your fault and you did it on purpose. And that's what I'm hearing. Like I knew it. You just, yeah, like I feel like there's this energy from somebody is like you just wanted to be better than others. Ouch.
ah,
Oh, transparency required. That's why the shadow always wants you blinded and divided. They want you not honest with each other because then they can hide. And then they get you to do things outside of union, togetherness, and love. But when you are transparent, completely truthful, and realize that we all go through the same kind of things and moments at times, and we can come together and work through them. And when we see things clearly and we're honest, it loses its power of divide. Ouch. How can you blame others when it's up to you to choose to rise or not? It's up to you to choose to listen, to follow the guidance of the heart space or not. And when you don't, you cut yourself off from that light. Ouch. Projections. Ouch. It's a little painful as this bubble is like pushing out and drawing out anything that doesn't align. And I can feel it from the root to the sacral, through the navel and into the solar plexus. It's a lot of pressure. Ego, a big ego applied. It's like they have this need to still be better than the Joneses, which is money matrix stuff. That's ego and greed type of thing. Must be better than. And I feel like it's your fault. I keep hearing that in this energy. Oh, and I feel it sucking into the bubble. And then the bubble is starting to push up. Ow! I can feel it. It's weird. It's pushing up now towards the heart chakra. Just focus on being completely honest with self and transparent and focusing on light and love. And I remember like even telling somebody a while ago, like, hey, you can't hear spirit. When we can't hear clearly, when we're not able to hear clearly, we should focus on that. Like we need to work towards that. That's super important because the clearer we can hear spirit, who's very subtle, it's very internal. If you can't feel all your emotions and you can't feel your whole body, chances are you cannot hear spirit clearly. Okay? Spirit is not external. It's not in a book. It's in you. All right? All can mysticism. That's Jesus. That's what I've been called and what I've been teaching the whole time is spirit is within you. And so we have to work on being able to see clearly in the moment. If we can't see and hear clearly and there's interference, it's through you it got through. This is true even for me. I don't know why, because I expect others to value things as much as I do. Sometimes I worry about others more than myself, and with all the non-value of the work, it bothers me, and I shouldn't let that do that. So I have my own too. You know what I mean? Like we all have our own things we need to work through and focus through, but work on being clear and aligned. Oh, and that just pulled like this big chunk into the bubble, and it's rising more up into the heart space now. So I feel it now from the sacral towards the heart, more towards the navel and towards the heart space is this bubble.
ah,
Mm. Oh,
ah,
changing the frequency back to love because it doesn't belong outside of that. Not respecting right things, not value. And I don't like the word respect, it's like not valuing things as they should be valued. Putting value into the wrong spaces, they're saying. Oh, yep. Putting value where it doesn't belong.
ah,
Ow. And also blame.
ah,
Ow.
ah,
Ow.
ah,
Ow. And expectations. Fear and shame. Ow. An ego. A very large ego is applied here.
ah,
Ow. So I feel it starting to rise towards the throat now. It's like this big pressure ball rising up and it's pushing up as well as absorbing into.
ah,
The need to rush things. If you don't have time to be here, then that's okay. Don't be here. But spirit is not rushing. We need to slow down and take our time with things because energies are so intricate. If we cannot take our time and sit with things and you value other things as more important than that, then your value is off to what is important at this time because the only way to rise is being light as that feather. So we need to value taking our time with things and spending time in our body and spending time making things right and spending time feeling light. That is valuable. So dishonor to the work of Christ. Ow, ow. And that's coming out of like the left, there's like the left side of the heart space here. Hmm. Ooh, it's like a dagger to my heart. It feels like it was like stab wound, and there's so much pressure towards my heart space. From the very top of my solar plexus towards the heart space. Oh, oh, the throat. So I'm feeling it really going into the throat. It's like gagging me. Oh, that's weird. It's a little painful. It literally feels like a bubble rising through the inside of my throat. And it is. Woo! It is coming up. Remember, it's absorbing and pushing out this bubble. And so I feel it from the top of the solar plexus now, through the heart, through the throat, and it's rising up to the top of the throat, going towards our third eye and crown now. Ugh, that was a weird feeling. Ugh. Ow, it's a little bit uncomfortable because it's this big bubble of absorbency and pushing out what is not transparent, what is not aligned. I'm so thankful to just be here. It's like slowing down that somebody's taking value from the time. Somebody is taking value from sitting in stillness and being within and doing the work that is required in the moment, thinking that other things are more important, and they're not. Nothing could be more important than healing and becoming lighter. Nothing right now. Because this is the end of ways. So it's the separation of darkness and light, and only light will rise. Do you understand? And the rest has a karmic demise to play out. That is very real. And so we are not here to live in the matrix. You cannot choose to stay the same either way you go. Ow. And there was like a dagger that went up the middle side and like split open and ripped apart the masculine and feminine. It's not like the worst attack or the worst feeling, but it was just like a little bit of like a separational energy. Bringing back value to the work of Christ, and rightfully so. And then like this whole light just went right down my middle and out in front of me, and bringing back the union and value into the work of Christ. The crest of the one, the sun. The sun is the crest of the one. The one who carries the sun is the crest of the one. And that should be valued, especially by those that are closest to the one. That's not matrix, that's not ego. It has to do with love and reflecting that because everything is connected, especially closer to the sun, okay? To the one. Honor and value. Somebody's not valuing the right things. They value money and they value other things over what is most important at this time. And so if taking time and healing is less important to you, if you don't think you have enough time to do that, that's a shadow component taking your power away. You are giving your power away to the things that don't matter in that moment. You're in control of everything around you. Oh, I see the bubble go floop and it's coming out, and I feel the pressure coming through the tip of my throat. It's like working its way out now. Oh, 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 oh. So somebody who's definitely projecting. Like I feel this energy of like everything I've done is something I've made up, or like how dare I bring so much value to that? Like, can't I ever stop? And aren't things more important? And that's that falsehood. That's a false energy. So there are remnants rising. You have to forgive me for a second. And then I see my vessel filling up with more sun. So they were pouring in the sun into my feet, my ankles, my legs. They're literally pouring it down me. And you guys have this beautiful ball of light. Remember that ball of light in your hands in the beginning? I want you to imagine taking that ball and putting it into your heart space. Oh. You must walk the path of the sun. Soul path warrior applied. Your purpose cannot fully be seen. You have to step into it from a space of not knowing because that reflects the character of the heart space. Like, why do you have to know everything? You lose value and beauty in it. Trusting God over your ego. But the matrix is the ego, so you have to understand that. So I see the bubble has fully like coming out, and there's still going to be remnants of things releasing. I see that. I feel it. That's okay because we truly did have a big bubble come through our system. So our system is like justifying that value, right? Like coming back together. And any remnants will continue to come out. So give give yourself space and time for that. Oh, good. See what I mean? Ooh. Oh. So they're just putting a blanket of light around you to help ground you and finish this one out. And my whole vessel is filling with sunlight as you place that ball of light into your heart space. And I want you to set an intention for yourself here. I bring back value to my work. I love who I am and what I've done again. And I let all of the pain go from the past and from others. I send them love and I love myself again. That's my intention. What's yours? Create your intention. I bring value back to what I've done, regardless of what others have done with it. So set your intention here, say it and be it, and allow it to anchor in. I set this intention and I anchor in for my day going forward. I am abundant. I am love. I am freedom. I am joy, and I am grateful. Let's do a little light language of gratitude. Honor of Christ. Kampalayan tarawa oa kapuui tadakilagyanto lakola kolakantara ilakyanto. Native Americans represent a lot the lay of the land, and that's why God was bringing that forward. Balakontala ayaanto ulakiete lakyanto. Balaua balaakaya tumpoe alakyanto. Bringing back value of the land, the sun, the moon, and the one, Christ, truth. So grateful for being here, so grateful for the healing, so grateful for spirit, so grateful for all of you, grateful to the Iroquois nations, to the value of love and light, grateful for connectedness, togetherness, and union of strength and togetherness, transparency. So grateful for emotional strength and maturity. So grateful for true abundance being applied. So much love to all of you. Thank you for joining me here today. Get grounded with yourself. Feel into your feet and the earth beneath you. Feel into your body. And when you are ready, open your eyes. I will see you next time. I'm so grateful for all of you. So much love.